is cheesy. The plot is stupid. I'm sorry, the plot is bad.
That's a little opening.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 300
Yes.
of ARG Presents. I'm your good buddy, your good pal, and long-suffering host of ARG, Amigo Aaron, joined by a man got in pretty early, getting on the ground floor.
Very
Give it
close.
up for the Brent.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. We're here in the, if you're not watching along, we are here in the beautiful confines of my room, my studio, my library, the multi-purpose room that is in my house. And we are broadcasting live. Boy, 300 episodes, the Brent. Even by our standards, that's a pretty lofty number. What do you think about the journey here? I mean, here we are. Did you think we'd get to 300?
Well, we got to go back a little bit.
Okay.
For the first 16 episodes, I was not a part.
Man, those were halcyon days.
And I want you to talk a little bit about what you and John came up with as a concept for ARG Presents. And then I'll talk a little bit about the transfer.
Okay. Well, so, we had been doing Amigos for quite a while, even back then. It'd been years of Amigos. And me and Boat, we both like games on other systems. And so we got to talk about doing a show. And I was like, why don't we do something where we can play anything? And so I was like, we could get a big roulette wheel. Now at the time, because I'm an idiot, I was planning on building a big wooden wheel.
Bad.
No, because I don't have any carpenter skills at all. And I had no idea how I'd put in pieces and stuff. I was completely clueless. In my mind, it was this big, massive wheel. And I was like, we'll build this wheel. But I thought, well, we can't have it just randomly pick games. That'd be insane. So we'll have an envelope with the name of whatever section the wheel comes on. And the envelope will have, we'll each pick 3 different choices for the games in that one. So we can have an idea of what games we're going to play, right? And so if you watch the first couple episodes, we whip out an envelope, and I look through it, and we pick out the games. We pick them out right on the spot back in those days. And so that got real convoluted real quickly. Of course, I couldn't build a wheel. And so when we were trying to decide on what to name it, Boat just came up with ARG Presents. I had nothing to do with it. ARG Presents stands for Amigos Retrogaming Presents.
Right.
That's what it stands for. But but tons of people have no idea what it means.
Oh, I can believe that.
And so here we go. Well, and Bo would make these real elaborate. He would take the 2 games we were playing each week, and we would turn those into this conglomerated name for the episode. Well, no one knew what he was talking about.
I remember those. Those really elaborate.
Real elaborate thumbnails. It was killing him. And so he instantly was burned out after about 10 weeks. He was like, this ain't working for me, bro. And so he was ready to start retiring ARG probably about episode 10, 12. I was like, we just started. We haven't even been going no time. We were still, and this is about, we were doing ARG and Amigos every week.
Yeah.
So it's an every week. So we're only 12 weeks in, by our standards, a pittance of time. And I was like, listen, I like the concept here, so don't kill the show. Let me see if the Brent wants to get a taste of the big life. And so you did. And I believe the very first episode we did with you didn't get to pick what was being played that week. The wheel had spun up. I can't remember what it was, but I know the next week you wanted to play Famicom Disc Games. So that's one of the few times we didn't spin the wheel.
That is one of the only times we've not spun the wheel. Yes.
And so Boat was happy. Although Boat every once in a while continues to try to cancel ARG Presents over the years. He's trying to cancel all the shows we do over and over. And I'm too stupid to let things go because I'm like, we got something good going here. And we've been doing them ever since. We've had pretty lofty highs, dismal lows, everything in between. I will say when we first started doing it together, we had a fold-out table, and it was sitting, I'm looking where it was sitting. It was sitting right here in front of our pinball machines. and you used to make little cardboard cutouts for all the games, and they're on this wall behind the
Yeah.
screen here. We've got all the original. We probably did the first probably 100 episodes where you were cutting those out.
It was a lot. And let me tell you something. It was a lot. And I thought about quitting the show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was sorry, just to jump in. Dave Velociraptor chimed in. He tried to cancel my show. Yeah, even Dave Velociraptor and Neil have felt the wrath of Boat. He'll cancel you in a heartbeat. Boat is the kind of guy. He will start something up. He gets real fired up for it, and then he just loses interest.
Well, he puts in 110%, and it's impossible to maintain.
I'm just a little sidebar. When he came up with the concept of This Week in Retro, and he told me what it was, and I was like, "That's never going to fly, Boat." I told him, I was like, I can't do another show, Boat. It's killing me." And so Boat ended up hooking up with Neil from RMC. And so that show has blossomed into a big juggernaut, way bigger than it is just we're doing. Of course, you've got
and how's John enjoying that show?
All-Star Cast. Well, he does occasionally pop back in, you know.
No longer a regular on his own show.
We both, but well, he dropped out of that. Well, that one was because the time difference for here in England is brutal.
Yeah.
And so the filming for him was tough. That was a tough show.
Plus, to give John credit where credit's due, unlike you and I, he has a life outside of doing the show and work.
Well, I mean, I do other stuff.
Helps run a restaurant.
Yeah.
Teaches middle school band, which is an incredible time sink.
He overloads his schedule like no one I know.
Classes online college classes.
He just competed in a regatta yesterday. So there you go. So he's a busy man. But yeah, so he's quite the visionary. But I will say ARG was sort of my baby in terms of the concept of it from Jump Street, because I wanted to do something random. And I wanted to do something, I mean, it's funny because when I envisioned the show, it never occurred to me how bizarre it would get in terms of what we'd be doing. You know, because I didn't know about the creative vision or the duck or any of this other stuff that we ended up doing. So it's been a lot of fun to try stuff I've never heard of. And I think people take some kind of morbid enjoyment out of sending us things to put on the wheel that are so obscure and ludicrous that like that thing John just sent of all people, where we can only play one game. But we've managed for the most part to pretty much get through almost all the stuff we've been sent over the years.
Yeah. Now, Aaron, February 7th, 2018. So
I don't know what that is.
That's when ARG Presents started.
Oh.
So 6.5 years ago.
Jeez. Yeah, that was a while.
And we have been fairly faithful at putting one show out a week.
Yeah.
Until we started the retro rotation and divided this show up with the other shows to save them. Again, really to save myself and yourself from burnout. Because otherwise, some of those shows would have definitely been lost.
I thought, we did that. It's been not quite. It's been this year when we started doing that, right? So it's like February, something like that.
Sounds all right.
I actually like that we do that. But to be honest with you, it does keep you from. I mean, really, it's hard to get burnt out ARG because it's so random.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But on the flip side, it's so random that you can, when you're slaving away trying to figure out how to get something to work, and you're like trying to figure out how to use the keyboard from this other. It's weird. It's like every once in a while, it's nice to sit down and play something on the Spectrum. We're just like load it up and play it, or on the Coco,
Something to definitely be said about ARG that I've learned over the years is when the wheel spins. Yes, we control what is put on the wheel, right? We have we have at least some say on that.
Yeah,
but what happens week to week is absolutely within the wheel's control.
Yeah. That's a shoot. We never alter the wheel ever.
And there are definitely times where I've sat here and I've watched that thing spin, praying, hoping, putting the thoughts and prayers out there for every deity under the sun. Please don't hit something obscure and stupid. I just don't have it in me this week. I don't have it in me
this week, yeah.
And the wheel will slow down and be like, it's like Super NES. And then instantly shoot over 3 places to some absolutely off-the-wall, Chicago-specific PC retro thing, I'm like, oh, it's over.
You know, the funny
This
thing,
is the week I give up and die.
the funny thing about this show, and this is the detriment and the blessing of it is you can't form. It's hard to earn. We've got a core audience on ARG. Now our podcast does quite well. The YouTube, it's all over the map.
Yeah.
And sometimes we've been hot, and sometimes we've been not hot. But that's YouTube. But we can't really earn a core audience. We tiptoe. I've been in the QL forums, and I've been in the Megaduck forums, and I've been in the Engage forums. And so I'm always there for like a week, and then I'm gone. So I can't really. Every once in a while, if we come back to something, someone will remember who I am or remember things. But I mean, a lot of times it doesn't. And often, sometimes if you look for a real obscure system, we're one of the only things that it comes up because but anyway, it's some people don't want to learn about the wooden machine from 1978, the kit computer or whatever. Some people don't care about the Ohio Scientific Challenger, because it's hard. There's newsflash, they died for a reason. There's no one that cares. But it is nice. One of the best parts of the show is hearing from the few people that still have these machines. They're stunned to see someone's giving it a shot.
I will say the outreach we get on this show from obscure authors that are like, hey, I can't believe you're reviewing my game that was 25 years ago.
Yeah, it's another.
Well, 25, that'd be recent. 45 years ago.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me this was a real good time. And sometimes we have public conversations with them in the comments, and sometimes we have private conversations with them through email correspondence.
Yeah.
But that's not a one or two off thing. That's happened dozens and dozens of times throughout the year. And it's always incredible to meet these people. I mean, we're not best buddies or anything with them now.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to see that, first of all, their passion still exists for the products that they've made. And that it's nice to bring a little happiness to them, but to show that someone out there is still at least trying to experience these things.
I will say, for example, I get messages every so often. It's been years since we filmed this episode, but on the NASCOM episode, I've heard of tons of people, which as I recall was the British kit computer from the late 70s. And I hear from people all the time that, me and my dad did this, or we built that, or I've still got one that works, and that's one of the nice things.
Touching.
It is, you'll hear from, like you mentioned, someone who programmed an obscure game or is in the industry that will check us out. And I'll name drop Dean Bent, good example. We'll be talking to Dean in an interview next week. We did a show on his work. But he's just a guy who found the show and got into it, and I've was talking to him. But it is nice to come across people who worked on the game.
Absolutely.
And you can chat with them, maybe get a little inside baseball on what was going on. So yeah, it's a tricky show to do, but it's been fulfilling. Now, let me throw this back at you. We have tried every conceivable camera, microphone, and setup in this room here, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at. As I look around the room, I know it looks great here in my room, but in actuality, we're in my studio /
pull
arcade.
the curtains back for a second.
Pull it back for just a second, Brent. For people,
if you
can do it without wrecking everything. See, there it is.
Note the floating.
Quick, turn it back on. For the people on listening, Brent just turned off the green screen technology, but. We're out here in a solid metal building. What would you say the size of this building is?
It's like a 12 by 8.
12 by. It's bigger than that. It's 18 by something. It doesn't matter. It's a big metal building. Some of you that have been to Boatofcar have been in here, so you know what it looks like. But it's a big metal building with a big, tall, peaked roof, and so sound has always been a problem.
Yeah.
We've tried various things. I think we're better now than we've been.
Yeah.
But it's been much worse. But when you think back to the places in this little room that we filmed this show, and do anything particularly strike you in terms of our technical prowess or ability to make everything suck? Because if you go back and look through our back catalog, some shows sound great, some not so good. Some of them look real bad when we were shooting with the webcam.
Well, technology. I mean, we both enjoy technology.
Yeah.
I think we could agree on that. So, unfortunately, technology we don't understand or know a lot about are film and audio.
Yeah.
That's not our bag. So we have definitely been through the gamut of different audio equipment, different sound equipment, and thankfully, that is definitely something John is way more in touch with.
Although to be fair, me and Boat have went through infinite different shooting,
Yes,
but including because Boat, we also shoot over here when we're not doing it remote, exact same spot, but it was years in the making. Because we've shot all over his basement,
Yes.
among other places,
and remotes where I've been in my basement,
Yeah.
and all the trials and tribulations that come with that. But not only the technology, but the angles that we shoot at. We are typically, up until this year, we've always sat side by side,
Yeah.
which is great when you're looking at the camera. But to actually have a conversation sitting side by side, it's awkward because you're either talking into the void or you're turning 90 degrees. Our setup now, for those listening at home, we're at 45-degree angles from each other,
Yeah.
which makes conversation with both the camera and each other a lot more comfortable.
Yeah. We've got just in case you're wondering what we're using. We've got what is this sound gimmick? We got a Rode sound system down here for the
Soundboard, yeah.
microphones. Boat has a pretty fancy camera. I think it's a Lumia or something like that. It's a handheld camera.
It's a picture camera, yeah.
And then it's funny, a long time ago,
Oh, thank you, Buck.
early in the days of the show, Boat went out to Amazon and bought the cheapest lighting rig you could get. I mean, it was dirt cheap. And we still use remnants of it, the stands. And as I look forward, there's a what would you call that? A hanging
Yeah, it's a hanging light
fixture. But the lights in it, I went over to the Dollar General and picked up. And hey, I got these remotes right here.
Oh,
I'm not going to use them because since these are cheap light bulbs, one remote will control all the ones in the same area most of the time. But these are like I think these things are like $3 each. We've been using this light rig for years now, and that's what's in it. So
it's funny because we've had more expensive stuff, more expensive light rigs, really more expensive sound equipment.
Yeah.
Because we try things out.
I don't know. This is as expensive as sound equipment.
You're probably right. Right, you're probably right there. We're probably peaked out right now. And funds that we get from supporting, because we could never go out and get all this stuff on our own.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff is actually high dollar, even though we don't use it poorly or 1/8 of its functionality.
Yeah.
Some of it's high dollar stuff. So thank you to all our supporters.
This is one show where, if you're one of the supporters of the Retro Rotation or you've been an ARG supporter, we actually use your money to put. And let me tell you, the proof's in the pudding. If you have any questions about that, go watch ARG 18, and then come back here, and you'll be like, all right,
And it's funny because we always think this is it. We've reached the peak, or it's been the opposite. This is so trash. We have to do better than this, and we try something else, and it's far, far worse.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. It's a behind the scenes challenge that all video podcasts experience. Right? They have to figure it out. Yeah, they do. And we haven't always had a dedicated space during the COVID era. We're definitely
remote,
working it up how we could to put out a product. But something to say about that. We have our sound and video quality is definitely improved. But how we get that information out into the world has definitely improved too. Because it used to be a weekly struggle with the internet.
Yeah.
Either not being able to keep up or just turn it off midstream.
Yeah.
Remember those years?
Yeah. It was horrible. I remember the very first time we ever went live. It was in the TI episode. We had our cowboy outfits on for that one. That was the first time, and Bo was pushing it. You got to go live. You got to go live. That's his thing,
Yeah.
And so, because we used to film this, and trust me, if you go back and watch the highlight reels, there were multiple screw-ups. We'd start. Now we just leave it in, But the internet was a continual pain in the butt. Also, rain and weather issues, a
Yes.
continual pain in the butt because it's a
But
big metal building.
That has also led to some incredible highlights.
Well, one highlight, a bunch of lowlights. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times that we've waited, and sometimes we just barrel through. And so when you hear a ton of rain, people know that no. I'm
Yeah.
sure the people at home are like, "What is this?"
And let me tell you something. That's something. I'm glad you brought that up. If you just popped in, right, and
Yeah.
somehow found this is the first episode you ever watched, I don't know how that'd be possible.
I don't either.
Well, let's pretend.
They're already gone. By the way, those people have left.
We have a dedicated base, right? And I am incredibly thankful for that. It's not a quantity of people, it's the quality of the people that come. And first of all, they accept these situations that we put ourselves in.
Yeah.
And we're incredibly grateful for that. But they've witnessed our growth. They've made suggestions. We've always tried to incorporate those suggestions. The wheel suggestions have been hot and heavy.
That's all that we use. We never come up with our own
Very
stuff. Yeah.
rarely. And it's amazing that people have stuck with us because we've had a few people here since. I mean, at least I've been here. The common names always show up in chat, and that's a dedication to a product that, frankly, I mean, some weeks I think this show is awesome. I think it's great. I'm proud of it, and sometimes they're just bad. Either because maybe we weren't feeling well, maybe things
Not
like
me.
the
I'm always great.
weather or the internet, and the product is just bad because of
Or the audio, the video.
technical situations, or the product's just bad because we had nothing to work with.
Yeah, we're really putting ourselves over in episode 300.
No, but
It's bad, everybody.
what
We're
I'm
sorry.
saying is, fans that have stuck with us through that and have seen our growth and understand the things that we've overcome. A big thank you to those folks.
Yeah.
Because literally, it keeps the show running, knowing that there are people out there that are enjoying it and finding a little bit of happiness with it.
The funny thing about this whole network, it's last week for one day. All right, I'm going to mention this. I'm going to do it's a little brag. Of course, ARG Presents is part of the Amigos Retro Gaming Network.
Yeah.
Along with our sister shows, plus Sprite Castle and Pixel Gate. So we've got I think it's a good, strong retro lineup. We hit, for the first time that I've ever seen, we were number one for one day on a in the iTunes retro charts in the video game section of one country. Now we've pitched
New Zealand.
We've been in the top 10, maybe even in the top 5 in like the UK before, which that's a huge achievement for a little show like ours. But we hit number 1 in New Zealand. Yeah. I thought to myself, I finally have hit the pay window. Our network hits number 1 in the country. It was just this past week, and I told the boys, like, we did it, boys.
Pack it up.
So a big shout out to all the listeners in New Zealand for getting us over the top. We appreciate that. Just for one day of the week. That's all we ask. The good thing about the iTunes charts is depending on how your release schedule goes, you can be number 1 or number 200. And depending on what, but by God, for one day, the stars align. But I mean, this channel is a slow burn. I mean, we've been around for a long, long time now. I think we're coming up on our we're into our 10th year or 9th, late.
For ARG,
No, I'm talking about on the network.
Sorry, Amigos Retro Gaming.
And so it's been we've always steadily increased in subscribers, but not people will zoom right by us. Like it's funny, people that we've met who were in our chat. I mean, I'm talking zillions of people. That's happened, which is fine. I don't care. But we've had a dedicated fan base that have generally a lot of people stick around, which is cool. And they know what they're going to get. I mean, we are just some goofs in a building, just having fun.
This is your buddy that you went over to their house and sat on their couch and played video games.
I will say
that's what we emulate.
Yeah, and what I emulate is just that if we didn't get a kick out of it, we would have been long gone. If you ever wondered, because it's not like we're making like the big money, we'd been long gone. But we get a kick out of it. It's fun, and of all the shows we do, This one is I hate to say it's my favorite because that makes me I feel like I'm picking a show, but I mean
You're
it's
crushing all your other children.
well. The problem is it's some weeks it's my favorite, and some weeks it's not my favorite.
yeah.
You know, but it's always I'm always amused and entertained. Now, one thing I want to ask you about. So in the last year, you've taken over the production duties
Mhm.
on a slew of shows, which has been great for me because I was burnt out big time.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I did it.
I was hitting the wall. It's one thing to be on all these shows, but to produce them, it was just a lot.
It is.
And so you took over, and so far since you've taken over, I've screamed at you weekly for your various because I can't let go.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and it doesn't bother me because I know how you are.
I can't let go because I did it for so long. But what's it been like for you? It's because you were just a slub. You just used to show up with a game and you were out. But now you've got skin in the game here. So what's it been like having to take over the production side of it?
Well before you guys did even started Amigos, I had dabbled in OBS.
Yeah.
And I have some streams out there.
You do?
Oh yeah, ancient streams. In fact, I don't even know if they still exist.
Wow.
But it was me just playing games. It was not anything.
So
structured.
at some point in your life, you did do live streams.
Yeah.
That's baffling because I've been trying to hit that drum for a long time.
But picking it back up again, I mean, it was like learning the software all over again because there was no way I was going to remember any of that crap. It has been both frustrating and fulfilling. Now it's going week to week. It's not so bad because I have a structure, I have a plan. Things just kind of slot into place. I can get a show up and going typically in about an hour and a half. Get everything in. But setting up the initial scenes, setting up the initial layout, the graphics, all the little extra bits and bobs. Some worked, some didn't. That sort of thing took days. I mean, weeks of actually getting everything in place because I had to learn the technology and put it all together. But I will say, because I like doing that kind of thing, I have learned so much from the technical side. I don't do it anymore because we've just got too many supporters. It's unfeasible. But when I was putting the people's names, supporter names, into different video games, and having the names follow a character or something like that.
Yeah.
Those were brutal.
Yeah. That was your idea, by the way.
It was, and it was. I think it's fun. I love to go back and watch them.
Yeah.
And some of them I think are so impressive. Like I'm stunned that I pulled them off.
Yeah.
But learning new technology and stuff and playing with it, I enjoy that. And in fact, our little special treat to everyone that we put together has us once again stepping out of our comfort zone.
I don't have a comfort zone anymore.
And
I want to say that I had no idea what was happening during most. I mean, are you gonna? Is this now is the time?
I think it's the time. I think we've already weeded out all of the click buys. I think now we need to give the hardcore audience, Aaron, what they deserve.
Well, I don't know what this is. I think we're going to pare this down into our new opening, but this is something.
A little background on
Why don't you do that after you play it?
Okay, that's fair.
There you go.
You ready, Aaron?
No, I apologize in advance for what you're about to watch.
All right, guys. Here it goes. Hopefully I've got everything set up correctly. So let me double check one thing before
Bridge production. You're right, Dave. Boy, you've never been more right. This is going to be great and terrible, depending on your perspective.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, and welcome to ARG Presents. I'm your good pal, your good buddy, Amigo, Aaron. And I'm joined by a man who would happily play 1,000 bad games just to find you a A square. This machine was only released in Tuvalu sometime in the 1930s. It ran on punch cards and was programmed in Moscow. Let me tell you, this one was a toughie to emulate, but we got it going. With the spin of the wheel, we'll uncover our fate and stream it to you all one take. We tend to be loud and we fight quite a bit, but it's an unscripted show, so you get what you get. If we stopped it right now and we just walked away, we'd be back here next week, cause we just can't wait to play. The game we chose as you playing as a ninja cheerleader in space. Challenge to eat the most pudding before the heat death of universe. And while we love the sound, love the visuals, we play games to escape reality, not relive it. 3 out of 10. With the spin of the wheel, we'll uncover our fate and stream it to you all one take. We tend to be loud and we fight quite a bit, but it's an unscripted show, so you get what you get. If we stopped it right now and we just walked away, we'd be back here next week, cause we just can't wait to play.
I don't know how you talked me into that. I apologize, everyone, for that. That was supposed to be a lot more elaborate than it turned out to be.
It was.
Brent sent me like a listing of scenes that was like a mile long. He said, "This is just background B-roll," I believe he called it, and the B-roll became the A-roll. I feel like an A-roll right now.
So, what this was?
Yes, please explain what this was.
Oh my God, I've been sitting on that song for what, a year?
It showed.
I've started dabbling. Obviously, that was AI music.
Yeah.
Not lyrics, but AI's music.
Sorry, Josh Malone. You're still here.
And it's funny. AI music is a funny thing. It's still, while it is, even in the past year, it's grown exponentially. In its infancy, which is where I was kind of dabbling with it, that part of it in, it was mind-numbingly tough to get something coherent to come out of the engine when you put in your own lyrics. When you have the machine just random everything or give it prompts, you can kind of funnel it. It funnels where it wants to go. But when you give it lyrics, it will just randomly speed up, slow down. It will just do crazy stuff. So I spent weeks, and it wasn't hundreds of dollars, but more money than I care to mention.
Your Patreon money funded that video. If you're listening to this on the radio, you are the luckiest person. Never go watch the video component. I assure you, it's a bad idea.
So I toiled and played with lyrics, because the lyrics for this were a little bit different at one time. And I told Aaron, I said, we're going to do this for episode 300 after I got it finished and put it all together, all the audio together. And we sat on it for months. I mean, 10 months.
Yeah. I did like the song.
And we listened to it all the time.
Yeah, I like the song.
On our own time. And then it came time to record the video, because I told Aaron I wanted to put a video with it.
And by the way, just to put some references, like literally months before this show, Brent had planned this elaborate shooting schedule, and then nothing, and we never did it.
About a month out, I started actually putting together how I wanted it to flow.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't. The shooting, as
I recall, I'm hungry and I'm hot. I'm leaving.
Well,
I believe was the end of the shooting.
I think there's something else you have to realize here, Aaron.
Yeah.
Us, when we're just sitting here in front of the camera, can somehow still screw it up.
Clearly.
So when we took footage, right, and then I had to try to edit it into a workable piece of art. Well, that failed. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to shoot for art. I'm going to shoot for moving images on screen.
So the Edison style approach.
And almost, well, about 70% of the footage we shot got used.
That is an indictment of our.
That's not good. You don't want that. But also, I had to learn. I almost gave up on the video because I could not get things in After Effects. I mean, there's not a whole lot of going on there, but I could not get things in After Effects to work the way I wanted them to because I didn't know what I was doing.
Clearly, yeah.
So I finished that up about 3 a.m.
This is the Brent way.
about 10 to 12 hours before shooting, I was adding captions to that.
I should mention in true ARG style. So we did several complete sing-throughs of that song, just sitting here acting like idiots. And I would sit here exactly like you see us right now, and I would hit record on the computer, and we would record it, and then we would later put on a USB drive or upload or whatever.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my laptop's got a broken screen. It's been broken since right when I bought it. And so one side of the screen I can't see that well. And so during I think it was the second sing through, I didn't hit record. I hit stream. And so
oh my God,
for a few people, for a few surprised people, because I removed this video instantly, never to be seen again. But the stream went up, and I know only one I know for sure saw it was Josh Malone. And his reply was vintage Josh. He goes, "AI music." All he said. He didn't comment on the fact that we were lip syncing to it. I mean, literally, the entire time we were on was just for the song. So it looks like we've intentionally Twitch streamed that.
We did.
I hope no one ever sees that footage because it was way worse than what Brent released.
Oh yes, it was.
It was an indictment of how stupid we were. So yeah, the whole shooting process stupid.
If you saw the raw footage versus what we actually released,
oh man,
I mean, you think I'm some kind of editing god?
Yeah.
Because I have to. We were joking about accidentally hitting stream instead of record, and then you went and did it.
Yeah, I did. It was that was something.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, again, I don't. Just to summarize, I'm sorry.
But this is one of those things where, first of all, man, we're so lucky, Aaron.
I don't feel lucky to see that. I feel like I've been done a disservice. Is what I feel.
No, we are so lucky to be in an environment where we can do something stupid like that and someone actually like it.
Well, I think you're really making a lot of jumps there. Just to bring it back around for a minute. Again, here we are. I know you hate these questions. I'm going to ask it anyway.
Right.
So we've done 300 episodes of this show.
Right.
Like, do any systems, games, or moments stand out to you that you can coherently speak on after your brain jostles around trying to figure out what they might be? Like and for that matter, any low points? I mean, aside from the one we just had.
Oh no, low points. I could go on for days.
Really?
Because we've had so many shooting problems, and really a lot of them we've already talked about. The weather, the internet cutouts, those type of things are so frustrating because they're outside of our control.
Yeah. Or
I've had plenty of shows where I have felt ill prepared, and that is always a miserable feeling because Listen, I'm a huge procrastinator.
He's the worst. He's the worst.
I'm a huge procrastinator. But one thing, I mean, I don't pride myself in this because I should never be in this situation. But one thing that I always seem to be able to do is at least cross the finish line. and
what?
No, Aaron, you'll be surprised about how many people can't do that.
That's what you put yourself over with?
Listen to me. There have been shows where I have felt I have not played a game to its potential.
Oh, yeah.
Or I know there were emulator problems, but I'm still trying to review what I was able to experience. Those are low points. Those are even more so than the weather, more so than the internet's cutting out or hitting stream instead of record, that kind of stuff, is personal times, and thankfully they've been pretty few, where I have felt like I have not given a game or a system the attention it deserves. And I feel really, those are really hard weeks for me.
Yeah.
Highlights, though, are when you get in there and you find a Yeti, or you
What
find.
is with you and Yeti?
That
That game
great
sucks.
game.
No,
No,
it
not
doesn't.
not Urban Yeti.
Oh,
the
okay, that's
original
what I'm
Yeti.
talking about. Yeah.
Or Miner.
It's
Get-
probably have to specify which Yeti
Yeah.
game you're talking about.
When I find something like that, and first of all, it's great for me because I get to play something, enjoy something I really can sink my teeth into and get a lot of enjoyment from. But I also like that I can share that with people, and even if only one or two people ever play the game, and hopefully they enjoyed it as much as I do, being able to give someone that they would have absolutely never have seen otherwise. Those are my highlights. What about you?
Well, I was thinking more specific to different shows. I will say a couple things that come into mind. It's like I mentioned that T episode where we started shooting this live for the first time. You know, Boat had been handling all the live shooting and stuff and doing all the production back in the day. So that was, and so here I was. I don't think I was producing Amigos at the time. I think I was just producing this show. And so that was scary, and I didn't know if I could pull it off. In fact, I didn't. The old shows I never produced live. I would go back and produce them after the show, but I just started doing it live because it was quicker. I didn't have to watch the show twice or even three times.
Yeah.
Well, you could do more stuff if you post produce it, but what are you gonna do? So that was one that comes to mind. I like it when we and part of me enjoys getting to a system that we don't know about and actually getting something out of it, like getting it to function and like getting to the point where I'm comfortable with dealing with it. That's nice. That's a happy feeling.
Absolutely.
It's also a lot of fun when the community like gets into like a system or a game for 1 week. That's always, just that again, we cyber through so many systems and games that it's hard to get.
For anyone to keep up, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to highlight any specific person, but Pajako is amazing.
Yeah, Pajako has helped us out quite a bit. I also want to, we've got to give a shout out to Duncan Stiles, who is a producer extraordinaire. He does the producing over at This Week in Retro. But Dunk has been helping the Amigos channel out for a long time, and he did a lot of I still use a lot of Dunk stuff on all the shows because Dunk can actually render stuff. He knows what he's doing. I'm an idiot. And also I want to thank Barkbit, who we use his music all over. I've used it on here. It was he did the theme for the show or the outro for a long time.
Yeah.
And he also did the wheel music. We still sporadically sprinkle his stuff in, but I use Barkbit stuff on almost every show we do.
Yeah.
And Barbit's been very generous
amazing.
over the years to make it easier for us. I also want to thank everybody just for giving out kudos. If you have sent us a console, a computer, or games, we appreciate that quite a bit. I mean, we've got a bin here full of Spectrum and Amstrad, and we've just got that. Scooby just sent us the next clone in there, and I mean, this is stuff that's hard to get in the States, and even harder to get in West Virginia.
Yeah,
and people have been super kind. We think about it. If you count the Ingo, we've got 3 Spectrums in our collection. And which is nice. We've got a good selection of stuff. So sometimes we have to break that crap out.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. And it helps. It helps to have reference material. So we've had a lot of help over the years moving down the line. Now, but I want to get some specifics here, which is you mentioned Yeti, but I mean, was there a console or a computer assist that you found quite interesting or something you hated?
Ohio Scientific.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
That was something, first of all, it was close to home.
Yeah.
That I would have absolutely never have known the history of, or that it existed, and being able to pull it out of obscurity That was really fun for me. I really enjoyed that.
I like
episode.
that one. The NASCOM. I like the Radio Shack. All the Tandy stuff we do. I always enjoy that.
Mega Duck. That was a great console. The console was not great, but it was quite an experience. And we've had some fans that have Mega Duck collections. That
Yeah,
we've met
of course.
at the cons. And
I think we both like Dick Smith.
Dick Smith
all
was
the Dick
great.
Smith stuff. We liked
Yes.
all that. The ones that I come to mind that I could not stand. Sinclair QL was one I didn't like at all. I didn't like the Falcon. That thing was hard to use.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm not blaming the Falcon necessarily, but the emulator was not that
Really
no good.
hard.
I had all kinds of trouble with the Falcon. That was one. What is the disc based one that we played for Japan? The FM Towns Marty.
That's
the one that scares
it
us
will
now.
not go back on the wheel.
Well, I mean, it's not because the system's no good. Just we had trouble running it.
No, that will not go back on the wheel.
Well, I mean,
it was a nightmare.
I've heard that someone was working on a Mister Core for it, but that was real tough to deal with.
that was.
I mean, it was years
my
ago. It may
gosh.
be easier now.
No, I still have flashbacks.
I still want a car Marty, and Neil's got one in his collection. I'd like to have one. So those are the ones that spring forth. The episode that Boat requested was a real toughie, where we only had the one game to deal with. It was that handheld. So sometimes
at least that was a neat piece of.
Sometimes we get stumped on some of these, but I think we've only. It seems like maybe once or twice ever we've had to not do the game we picked. I know one you picked was the Halcyon.
Halcyon, that's the one.
That was one we couldn't do. I think they've done something with that since then, but at the time there's no way to play it.
Yeah,
and it never really got released either. It was just there were some beta copies flying around.
Although the story behind the Halcyon is really fun.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's been lofty highs and dismal lows. In terms of we don't do as much stuff like pinball as we used to. We used to do more. We used to try to mix more pinball in, but no one seemed to like pinball except us. I will say some of my favorite episodes were the ones where we didn't play any game. Like a video game, we played board games one time, which was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Electronic games, which that episode did horrible, but was fun.
Here's I want to comment on that.
Yeah.
I know the numbers bother you a lot more than they bother me.
Well, it's a gauge on how the interest of what you're doing.
I understand that. I have always been. This show, this might sound bad. It probably will. This show is for me first.
It does sound bad.
Yeah, I've always taken that mindset, because if you just start doing things that are expected or requested of you over and over, but you don't have any passion for it, I think it hurts the product. So I've always tried to put me first when doing this stuff, because I think it makes a better product. And the things with the things with the board games and the electronic games, I really enjoyed those shows, and something like that will eventually make it back to the wheel. And if it doesn't perform so well, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I've never had a problem.
I like VCR games was fun.
Yeah,
I love how much I enjoyed the Action Max. Yeah, that was a lot of fun for me. So I like that kind of stuff. It's different. It's just something different to do.
It is.
So
in a show that's always different, it's still different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't really have any rules.
We don't.
There were really, if we wanted to, I don't know, what's the newest console that you've got at your house? You don't have a PS4 or 5, do you?
The newest console in my house right now?
Yeah.
How
hard is
Collar
this?
Wonder Swan?
You don't have any consoles? You don't have an Xbox 360 sitting around? You got an Xbox, I know that.
I don't.
In your basement, you've got one.
I don't live in that house anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, it's a valid point. So, I guess, and I'm the same way. But we have, for us, it would be just as wacky to play games on the PS4 or 5 as it is to play on the Super Acon or the Mega Duck. And I wouldn't rule those out. I would try a modern thing.
Oh, yeah.
We try Steam games and stuff.
I play PC games. I play Baldur's Gate 3 every weekend.
Yeah.
I play modern games. Helldivers 2. Yeah, it's not like I don't play modern stuff. I play tons of indie stuff.
We
too.
play some stuff on the TSI with the TSI crew that's modern.
Yeah.
You know, so there's also that. So we're not totally in the past, but yeah, that's one thing Boat hated when we played the Xbox. He said it was a bridge too far. But like I like all the Xbox episodes and I would play anything. So
yeah,
if someone requested that we play stuff on like a modern machine, if I could play it
and gets on the wheel, then the wheel decides when we play it.
Well, do you have anything you want to take to the house here before it's all said and done?
Well, after nearly 300 episodes for me and 300 for you,
seems like 600.
I've always enjoyed, and the God honest truth, there are definitely times when we fight, like, are angry at each other fight. I mean, it's brotherly love type stuff.
Let me tell you, I want to stop right there.
Okay.
Big fight, it's him. Now you carry on. We didn't talk about the gigantic wheel. You can implement that. We broke this out at the Boat Fest.
Well, we don't have a room
Tell
for
the
it
people
here.
about the gigantic wheel. That was cool.
It's just a big wheel that.
Tell them how you got it, though.
Some guy was business was shutting down. I bought it.
Yeah, but you got a heck of a good deal.
Oh yeah, we got it super cheap.
Now,
saved about $500.
Do you see any format changes going forward?
No, I mean, maybe more music videos.
No. See, he's doing it again.
All right, you ready to spin the wheel here?
Yeah, spin it.
We have got. Oh man, there's a lot of minefields on here. Let's see what we can do. We've got. Oh, Aaron.
Every time you say that, I get worried. This is a request or a suggestion from Buck Owens. Yahoo, by the way. Good old Buck. This is the Spectra Video SB318/328. At least this is what I've heard of. The old Spectra Video. Now, do you remember this one?
Not at all.
The Spectra? I think I know what I'm thinking Spectra Vision. So maybe I don't know what this is. Well,
was it Buck?
Yeah.
Oh, Buck won't leave us long.
Oh, yeah. That's you heard him, folks. Hey, listen. Good job.
I agree.
Good job. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Look at this, everybody. Yeah. You're doing a good job, kid.
You ready?
Yeah.
Say goodbye to the people, Aaron.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next 300. Oh.
We got it going. With a spin of the wheel, we'll uncover our fate and stream it to you all in one take. We tend to be loud and we fight quite a bit, but it's an unscripted show, so you get what you get. If we stopped it right now and we just walked away, we'd be back next week, 'cause we just can't wait to play.